Have you ever wondered about the possibility of a single meal feeding thousands? This question may seem far-fetched, perhaps even impossible to some. But in the realm of miracles, impossibility is a concept that simply doesn't exist. Miracles, by their very nature, defy our conventional understanding, challenging the laws of nature and physics that we hold so dear. They invite us to look beyond our limited perspective, to entertain the extraordinary, the inexplicable, the divine. Throughout history and across cultures, tales of miracles have captured our collective imagination, offering hope, inspiration, and a glimpse into the realm of the divine. And among these tales, some stand out for their profound impact and enduring legacy. Today, we delve into one of the most famous miracles, the multiplication of the fish. A miracle that transcends time, cultures, and faiths and continues to inspire millions around the world. So, let's embark on this journey together. Our story begins in a place called Bethsaida, with a large crowd following Jesus. This was no ordinary crowd, but a vast sea of thousands, all captivated by the words of a humble carpenter. They had come from far and wide, drawn by stories of his wisdom, his teachings, and the miracles he was said to perform. Imagine the scene, if you will. The sun burning overhead, casting long shadows across the dusty landscape. The air filled with the murmurings of thousands of people, their eyes fixed upon the figure at the center of it all, Jesus. He was there, amidst them, sharing parables, spreading the message of love, hope, and forgiveness. As the day wore on, a problem arose. It was a practical concern, one that we all can understand: the issue of hunger. The crowd had been there for hours, and many had traveled long distances without provisions. There were thousands of people, and yet only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish available. 5 loaves and 2 fish. It sounds like a riddle, doesn't it? How can you feed so many with so little? It's a problem that might seem insurmountable to us. But Jesus wasn't fazed. He had a calmness about him, a certainty that seemed to ripple outwards, touching all those present. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the scene, an air of anticipation hung heavy. The disciples, those closest to Jesus, looked at him, their faces etched with concern. But Jesus, with a serene smile, looked out over the crowd, the 5 loaves and 2 fish in his hands. He gave thanks for what they had, breaking the loaves and dividing the fish. And then something extraordinary happened. With just 5 loaves and 2 fish, Jesus looked up to heaven, blessed and broke the loaves. On this day, something remarkable was about to unfold, something that would leave the crowd in sheer amazement. As Jesus began to distribute the bread among his disciples, they noticed something peculiar. The more they took, the more there seemed to be. It was as if an invisible hand was replenishing the basket with an endless supply of bread. The disciples, amazed, passed the bread to the people. Then came the fish. A similar phenomenon started to occur. Despite there being only 2 small fish, they seemed to multiply, filling the plates of thousands as if a divine hand played a role in an impossible provision. The crowd watched in stunned silence, their eyes wide with astonishment. This was no ordinary gathering. It was a sea of people as far as the eyes could see. Men, women, and children, all from different walks of life, had gathered on this hillside. They had come to hear the teachings of a man who spoke of love, compassion, and a kingdom not of this world. Little did they know they were about to witness a miracle. The air was thick with anticipation. The onlookers could hardly believe what they were witnessing. The impossible was happening right before their eyes. The loaves and fish were multiplying, seemingly out of nowhere. The astonishment was palpable. Whispers of amazement rippled through the crowd as the food continued to multiply. But the miracle did not end there. After everyone had eaten, there was still an abundance left over. 12 baskets filled with leftover loaves and fish were collected, a testament to the extraordinary event that had taken place. In the end, everyone had eaten their fill, and there were even leftovers. This was a day that would live in the hearts and minds of those present, a day where they witnessed firsthand the miraculous power of compassion and divine provision. The miracle didn't just end with the feeding of the crowd. After the last morsel was consumed and the crowd satiated, the disciples went about collecting what was left over. Imagine their astonishment when they filled 12 baskets with the remaining pieces of bread and fish. far more than they had started with. This was not just an act of divine provisioning, but a powerful display of abundance that transcended human understanding. The crowd, once hungry and weary, now found themselves filled, not just with food, but with awe and wonder. The atmosphere was charged with a palpable sense of the miraculous. Whispers of amazement swept through the masses. Some were stunned into silence, others broke into spontaneous expressions of joy and gratitude. But the significance of this miracle runs far deeper than the immediate aftermath. It served as a testament of faith and divine intervention, a stark reminder that when human resources run out, divine resources step in. The multiplication of the fish and bread was not merely about satisfying physical hunger. It was a metaphor for the spiritual nourishment that Jesus offers. Just as the crowd was filled beyond their need, so too does faith in Jesus fill us beyond our spiritual hunger. It was a demonstration that God's provision is not just sufficient, but abundant, overflowing. This miracle also underlined the power of shared resources, the magnificence of communal harmony. Jesus took what was willingly given, blessed it, and it multiplied. It was a lesson in generosity, in the power of giving, and the miraculous outcomes it can yield. But perhaps the most profound takeaway is the reassurance of divine presence. In moments of want, in times of need, there is a force greater than us, ready to step in. This miracle was a clear message that no matter how vast the crowd, no matter how scant the resources, with faith, there is always enough. This miracle was more than just about feeding the crowd. So what does the multiplication of the fish really signify? This question prompts us to delve deeper into the undercurrents of this miracle, beyond the surface of the miraculous act itself. It nudges us to explore the profound themes of abundance, sharing, and divine providence that ripple through this narrative. The miracle of the fish and loaves is not just a demonstration of divine power, but an embodiment of the concept of abundance. Here, abundance does not merely pertain to material wealth. Instead, it transcends into the realm of spiritual richness, a bounty of faith, hope, and love. It reminds us of the limitless reservoir of these virtues within us, waiting to be tapped and multiplied, akin to the loaves and fish in the story. As we delve further, another layer unfolds, revealing the theme of sharing. In the narrative, a young boy offers his modest meal of 5 loaves and 2 fish. This act of sharing, no matter how insignificant it may seem, sets the stage for the miracle. It brings to light the idea that sharing, even in the face of scarcity, can lead to abundance. It's a gentle reminder that our small acts of kindness and generosity can trigger a ripple effect, creating waves of positivity and abundance that reach far beyond our immediate surroundings. Lastly, the miracle underscores the principle of divine providence, the belief that there is a higher power overseeing and providing for our needs. The multiplication of the fish and loaves illustrates that when we place our trust in this divine power, even the seemingly impossible becomes possible. It encourages us to surrender our worries and fears, knowing that we are taken care of always and in all ways. These themes of abundance, sharing, and divine providence are not just ancient concepts confined to the pages of religious texts. They are timeless principles, relevant to our daily lives, guiding us towards a life of faith, generosity, and trust in the divine. Indeed, the miracle of the multiplication of the fish continues to inspire and challenge us today. The miracle of the multiplication of fish, a simple act with profound implications. We've journeyed through the telling, unfolding aftermath and the deeper message behind this notable miracle. It's a narrative that continues to resonate, reminding us of the enduring relevance and power of this act. The story began with a multitude in need, a situation seemingly hopeless. But through the miracle, we saw how faith and compassion could transform scarcity into abundance. This is not merely a tale from the past, but a timeless lesson for us all. The aftermath of the miracle emphasized its significance, not just as a display of divine power, but as a symbol of hope and abundance. And the message, it strikes a chord within us, echoing the possibility of the divine in our everyday lives. In the end, it's not just about the multiplication of fish, but about faith, abundance, and the possibility of the divine in our everyday lives.